Hey, all right, I think we're live. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, how are you guys doing? Welcome to today's masterclass, which is part two of clearing your anger, freeing your soul, and becoming the boss mom you want to be. Hello from super hot Germany. It's like crazy. It's been like this, you guys, for like the past couple of months, which is almost hilarious given we've been in lockdown for such a long time. And it's almost like the weather wants to send us a message. It's literally been like sunny for a couple of months. And it's very, very crazy. Today is a special day for me because I'm doing a liver detox. I'm doing a liver cleanse. And so today is the last day of this 9-day liver cleanse. And you cannot imagine how happy I'm going to be when this is over because it's a torture. I'm not gonna lie, it's a torture. It's like a detox of your liver, but it's really, really good. And apparently I look younger. Somebody told me the other day, which I'm like, oh, I take that compliment. So I'm a little bit weak because I haven't eaten all day. The last day is all liquids, but it's quite interesting because the liver is actually the organ that is associated with anger, right? And so if you find yourself being easily irritable, it is because the liver kind of contains that. It's all stuffed in there. And so doing a detox and getting all that gunk out can actually really help you to let go and get back to balance and feel really easy. And so it's been hard because it's literally vegetables and fruit for like 9 days, but it's it feels so good. I feel like I have so much energy. It's incredible. And I just like want to dance and I'm like really all in happy mood, which is very funny. So if you're interested, I will be sharing that as well. We'll be doing that in the Rapid Anger Relief course too. So when you're hopping on here and you're watching the replay, let me know you're here in the comments. Please engage, ask any questions, anything you can relate to. I would love if you can comment. If you have any questions, let me know. Um, I'm happy to answer them. And yeah, welcome. So let's get this class started. So, yesterday we talked all about the real reasons why we're actually getting angry, and that the real reasons are not the fact that our kids are whiny or that the kids are not listening or your husband is criticizing you or I don't know, you're mad at your mother in law. Those are never really the real reasons, right? Those are just information pieces for us that basically tell us we need to go and look in here what is really, really causing that anger, right? Because when we don't do that and we blame it on the other person, or we blame it on it's like, oh my God, when are these kids, finally gonna stop screaming around? I mean, we're literally giving our power away and it leaves us very powerless. And so today I want to share with you what you can actually do to literally eliminate the need for getting angry, right? Because if you think about, and it's not just angry, really. I mean, it can be frustration, it can be sadness, it can be anxiety, whatever kind of feelings arouse in us. We need to start looking at our environment in a different way to understand what piece of information they hold. Hey, Angela, nice to have you on here. I'm so happy you're here. um, and so, what typically happens is when we get angry, right? It's this feeling inside our body that kind of really, like for me, it really starts in my solar plexus, like at the bottom here, right? And it goes like, whoosh, and it just whooshes up. And it comes so fast that we can't control it, right? And so a lot of the times, we like people ask how can I avoid saying all the things in the heat of the moment that I don't want to say because when we do that, I mean, the problem with the anger is, right, it keeps coming up. We behave in a way we don't want to behave. We say things to the people we love the most. We hurt them, things we don't want to say. And then afterwards, the guilt and the shame cycle kicks in because we really beat ourselves up that we couldn't pull ourselves together, right? And so, what you want to do is, because quite honestly, it is very hard that when you are in the heat of the moment to, leave the room or count backwards from 10 to 1. I mean, yes, those are great techniques and they partially work, but they don't really eliminate the need to get angry. And that's what we're after. You don't even want to find yourself in that position to get there, right? And so what that means is that we really have to get real with our emotions, and we really have to start looking at what is causing these emotions. So the very first thing you want to do is to go and identify your triggers. Now, this might not be news to most of you, because a lot of people that deal with this is like, go and find your trigger. So what happens though is that when I with the moms that I work, is like, yeah, my trigger is my kid's constant whining, for example, right? And I'm like, okay, that's a great trigger. That's a very obvious trigger. So let's go and use that trigger. But it's never this is what I want you to understand. It's never the real reason why you are angry, right? This is just super, super at the surface. And so what you want to do though is use that one trigger, that obvious trigger, and really go and find out what that trigger is telling you. So the difference is, typically what we would do is we get pissed at somebody, right? Or we get frustrated with somebody, and then we blame the other person and we think it's all about the other person. It's the other person's fault that I am angry. These people make me so mad. But here's the thing, no one can make you feel anything. No one can make you feel mad. You are producing those emotions. It's us. It's us who decide in that moment, and this happens obviously super, super fast, but it's us who decide in that moment that we are creating those emotions, right? And so what we want to do is go and look at those, really go and look at those triggers, and look at the triggers in a different way and understand them in a very different way. And the way I want you to look at them is that, oh, okay, my kids triggered me. Okay, hang on a second. There's a piece of information for me here that I need to go and find out about myself. And so it's because the thing is, there's always a shadow side in us, right? Everything that's happening is mirroring in our, like, the outside world is literally just a mirror of what's going on internally. So if you are somebody who's mostly frustrated, mostly overwhelmed, mostly angry, that's kind of what you're attracting in the outside world, and you'll be getting more and more of that, right? And oops, I just lost my picture. Oh, it's back. And so that's why we can't break the cycle. We can't break the cycle. So what do we do? We want to go and find these triggers and really look out for these triggers. And instead of getting pissed at these triggers, and instead of getting fed up with the triggers, starting to look at them like a curious little child and literally say, oh, there's another one. Oh, amazing. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. What am I going to do with this? What am I going to do? And so when you start doing that, what actually happens is you give yourself power back. You literally put yourself in the driver's seat, which is super amazing. And so there's nothing around you anymore that actually will happen that that really makes you feel anything if you approach the situation with a mind of curiosity, right? I hope that makes sense to you. And so, as I said, there's the very obvious triggers, like, which we typically think somebody else made us feel this way, right? But there's also a lot of unobvious triggers. And so for those of you who've watched the first part yesterday, the unobvious triggers are really, unfortunately, the things that are running the show, right? Because as I told you yesterday, it's 95% of what we do and the way we behave and what's happening around us is literally coming from our subconscious. And it's only 5% that we really have in full control, right? So there's a lot of unconscious triggers that we have that we don't, that we're not even aware of. And and so what we want to do is we want to go and find those as well, right? Because these are the ones that are really hidden, and these are the ones, guys, that are not logical. They're not logical at all. I can tell you, like my daughter, she has a way of drinking. It would, like, the sound she'd make when she drink, it would, like, ooh, like I would go, like, I couldn't explain you why, but it would drive me nuts. And I'm pretty sure that there's other people that have something like something similar. It's like, it's weird noises that other people sometimes make, or just kind of, behavior, like some, like, like maybe somebody does this all the time and it drives you nuts, right? And you don't know why. And you don't have to know why, because those emotions are not logical and they don't make a lot of sense. But what you have to know and what you have to start paying attention to is that those things drive you crazy, right? And again, that those things hold a piece of information for you, because when you look at it like that, then you can actually go and you can change it. And so the way to change it is, what you want to do is, once you have identified your trigger, what you then want to go and do is you want to use that trigger to go and clear it out of your system. And so one method that I have been taught by my coach, Sarah Longoria, is she does a very special way of tapping. For those of you who are familiar with EFT tapping, she's kind of adapted it in a, like, I want to say, the real way, where it actually really works to help you get out your emotions. And so I've been implementing this in my practice and teaching women, to really get, or teaching moms in particular, to really eliminate the need for getting angry. Because what tapping does is it helps you to literally get rid of the emotion. It literally is a clearing mechanism, because emotions, as I told you also yesterday, are nothing else than motions and energy. And when you are not allowing yourself to fully live through that emotion and fully live through that cycle of that emotion, the emotions are stuffed down and they're gonna keep triggering you and keep triggering you to be angry. So what you want to do is that when you, for example, you have been calling your child 5 times for dinner and they're still not coming, right? And you're getting really triggered, you want to go and tap on it. And so there's 7 tapping points that we go through. So you start here at the top of the eyebrow, you go on the side, you go underneath your eye, underneath your nose, on your chin, here on the collarbone, on the side, and you go back on your head. And so what this does is, because what you're doing is basically, it's kind of like acupuncture almost, right? Except that you're just doing it to yourself. And so what you're allowed, while you are doing this, you're kind of bringing the energy flow back in your body. And while you're doing this, you want to go and you really want to say what you are thinking in that moment. This is the most important thing. You really, like, if you're really mad at your children, if you're really mad at your husband, you want to be real with your emotions. You don't want to hold back. Now, you don't do this in the middle of the kitchen where everybody can watch you. You do this privately in, I usually hide in the basement, or I hide in the bathroom, right? So I just kind of excuse myself. It's like, okay, I need 5 minutes. I'm gonna be back. And then I just go through it and then I really say it. And I'm like, oh my God, why is nobody ever listening? This is so annoying. It's such a pain in the ass. I can't stand it. They drive me crazy. Nobody ever does anything here, And so you're really real with yourself and you're really real with your emotions, because you know what, guys? You are thinking those things anyway. That's what's happening in your subconscious. But we have been trained for years and for decades to not speak them out loud, because that's not the good city girl, right? Um, but if you keep pretending and keep holding it together and you think you're letting it go, whereas actually what you're doing is just interrupting that cycle and squashing your emotions even further down, so they kind of start collecting, um, nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change. So tapping is a magical way, and I'm more than grateful for Sarah, who's been teaching me this, to really eliminate the need. Like when you really go deep into that emotion with tapping, what happens is you allow yourself to fully experience that emotion and complete that energy cycle, and then it's gone because it's just completed, right? And so there's no need for that energy to come out of you at some point later. And once you've done that, the third part we want to do is then go and really meet ourselves and accept ourselves for where we're at, and just be kind to the human, and be really nice to the human, and just stop judging ourselves for having all these feelings. Because I tell you what, the reason I can talk, and I decided to start talking about angry moms and mom rage, is because it's not your fault, and because it wasn't my fault. Yes, I was a terrible person, and I can tell you I hated myself. I really hated myself, and there's still moments where I lose it because I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. Um, and it's okay. It's okay. That's the big difference. Today, I know I'm going to be fine. My kids are going to be fine. And I'm just, human, learning my way through. And so the worst part is we get angry, we judge ourselves, we slap ourselves, and we're just not really being nice to ourselves, right? And so the important part about this one is to really accept yourself and fully love yourself for where you're at, and telling yourself it's either this or it's going to get better. And it will get better if you follow this process. And so the third part we want to then do is go and really, nurture our soul. And as I told you yesterday, or, we talked over again, you're not angry uh, um, because your kids are not listening, or other people are doing you harm. It's not, a lot of this is not logical and not explainable, right? So what you want to do is then go really, once you've cleared out the anger and the emotion, you then really want to go and be kind to the human and be nice. That's where you can bring in meditation. That's where you can bring in hypnosis. That's where you can bring in all the affirmations and the good stuff. But here is what a lot of people do wrong with anger management courses, and that's where I was frustrated for years. Because what happens is, like in anger management course, they tell you, okay, you need to find your trigger, write it in a journal about it, and then do meditation. And so what they're skipping is the middle part. It's the part that I've learned from my coach, right? It's they're skipping the fact that you actually have to clear it out. And so a lot of people come and they're super frustrated because they've tried meditation, they've tried breathing techniques, they've tried yoga, they've tried, you name it, counting, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it still doesn't work because the emotion is still there. And yes, it doesn't. And I can tell you why. Because basically what we're doing is you have all these uncompleted cycles of emotion sitting inside you. And, the ones we don't like sadness and depression and anxiety and anger and frustration and whatever, they're basically your garbage, right? It's all your garbage. It's sitting inside you. And when you come and you do meditation, you're spraying perfume over that garbage. So what happens is nothing. It works for like a little bit. It smells good for a little bit, but the actual gunk, the actual garbage is still sitting in there. And so it's not going to work. And doing the tapping is literally taking all that gunk out. It's taking it out, and it's cleaning you. It's like reviving you. It's making you new almost, right? And then you can go and bring in all the good stuff. So maybe you're wondering, why the heck am I telling you all these things? And what has this got to do with me being a working mom and work-life balance and working through it? It's everything. It has everything to do with the way you manage your life. It has everything to do with the way you manage your relationship. It has everything to do with how great your sex life is. It has anything to do, everything to do with how much money you're making, how well you're being perceived in your outside world. Because this is, they've actually, scientists, I'm a scientist, you guys, by heart. I mean, I studied life science, and I've worked a lot on neuroscience and psychiatric disorders in my PhD. And And I read this book, I want to say 15 years ago, whatever. It's a book called Molecules of Emotion. We can measure this. We can measure our emotions. Our emotions are literally the guys running the show, and we know nothing about the human and how the human literally operates, right? And so scientists have measured that when we have low emotions, we have low, or these emotions that we call negative emotions, like anger and depression and guilt and shame, they are on a very low frequency. We are vibrating on a very low frequency. And they've measured that we're constantly, like, we're humans, we're constantly broadcasting this energy to our outer world, and we're constantly receiving this energy back. When you are in these low vibrations and this low emotions, you are broadcasting that constantly, and that's what you're getting back. That's why you it's so funny. I have a friend of mine, and she always meets the people who are like, she always gets in trouble, like always, right? And I'm like, you're sending that out, like you're like constantly sending that out. Same thing with my husband. When he has to do something and it's involved like paperwork and administrative work, like people don't get back to him. They don't respond. He has to follow up like 55 times, and it really frustrates the hell out of him. And I'm like, that's not happening to me. It's just not happening. And it's because I'm sending out a completely different vibration, right? And because I'm sending out that different vibration, I'm also open to receiving a lot of the good things. So one of the biggest problems with being angry and was, for me, I could not see the good stuff. You can't. It's impossible, because anger is a mask. It's a mask, right? And it literally makes us blind from finding different ways and finding different solutions that make us, bring the joy and the happiness, and make us just really feel good about ourselves. And the reason you can is what I told you before. It's the garbage. You're clogged. Your garbage is full. It's full. So we need to throw the trash out. Throw the trash out, and then we can bring in all the other good things. And you know what? To me, this is like the key to work-life balance. This is the key to literally having it all. I mean, people wonder sometimes, who are you and what are you doing? Because I do hold a full-time corporate leadership role. So I lead a global team for a big corporate company, and I do this coaching, and I do the coaching inside the company, and I do this coaching outside of the company. And I have two kids. And 5 years ago, I was like, I was lost with two kids and just running my full-time job, and I wasn't even in a senior leadership position, right? And today I'm doing my business on top of it. And so it's never about managing time. It's never about being more productive and being more effective. Not at all. It's literally, all you have to do is just get in alignment with your emotions and your thoughts, and get in alignment with yourself, and understand, who the heck are you? We don't know us. We really don't. We have no idea. Because most of the day we operate on autopilot, right? But there's a lot of information for us um, in here. And so that's the beauty. When you start reconnecting with yourself, when you clear that anger, you like literally freeing the human being that you wanted to be in this world, and the human being you want to show up. You're going to be the mom you want to be, and not the mom society expects you to be, right? And it's going to feel really good to you. And you're also going to be the professional you want to be. You're going to have the job you want to have, right? And get the money you want to have. It's super awesome. That's all I can say. So um those three steps, right? We need to really learn to understand our triggers differently. We need to clear and reconnect with our real emotions, and just feel them and be with them and embrace them and love them. And then we need to bring in the good stuff, like the meditation and the affirmations and all the good things that let us going, right? Those are really the three things. And so what I'm going to do is these three steps, I've put them together in what I call the Rapid Anger Relief System. And I know that some of you have already signed up, which is so amazing, and I'm so happy. So it's going to be a 4-week program that we're starting on June 22nd. And I'm going to take you through this whole thing. You literally don't have to do anything. You just have to show up. You just, invest the 97 bucks. That's all it's going to be, you guys, because I know this is going to be so good and you need it. And I don't want money to be standing in our way. So it's 97 bucks if you want in. I'm going to start it with a small group. And we're going to have a lot of fun, and I'm going to take you through this process. It comes with training videos where we go way more into detail. I've got scripts on a tapping that will tell you exactly what you need to say, because there's things like, there's a lot of resistance in us that we need to go and get out. The tapping on the failing, tapping on nobody's listening to me, tapping on the being rejected, all that kind of stuff that's really sitting underneath that anger is going to be there for you. All you have to do is just listen to the script, follow through the points that are going to be explained again, and you're good to go. And I will be there on your side for 4 weeks. We're going to do live coaching sessions once a week as well. So I will be guiding you through this. I will be on your side, so nothing can go wrong. And I'm super, super excited about this. This feels really like aligned to my soul. And because it's just, I don't want to cry, but it's just, it's just really, really important to me, because I know there's so many moms that hold themselves small, and you don't have to. You just don't have to. It doesn't have to be like that at all. Okay. So just believe in yourself, commit to yourself that you can do this, and I'm going to be doing the rest for you. So how do you get in? I'm going to make this super easy. There's not even like a sign up funnel or anything. There's literally a PDF that has a button that you can go and click, and then you will be booking a 15-minute call with me, where I will give you the exact details and the onboarding and how this is going to work. That's where you also pay, and then you're in, and then we'll see you in the Facebook group, where we'll have all the materials, and I have everything ready and waiting for you, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. Let's kick some anger, right? All right. Oh, thank you, Angela. I haven't even had time, sorry, to look here at the comments. Let me check these. Yes, anger energy is in the throat and the heart too. Absolutely, Angela, you're absolutely right. Yes, especially here, right? It's the fear of not angry that you can't speak what you really want to speak. That's what it was for me. Feeling at the need that I had to hold back on what I really wanted to say, because I would either be, as a child, I was um, being punished or backslash for when I actually spoke my true voice. And so over the years, I've just learned to not do that, right? Even though for those of you who know me wouldn't believe that, but it's true. A lot of the times, I did not speak what I really wanted to say, and so that anger is literally sitting in here, right? And yeah. All right. Let me see. Any other questions, you guys? Thank you for tuning in. I really loved having you there, having you here. Yes. Not being able to speak my truth. Yes, I know. I know, but I know you're already doing a really good job, so you're going to be great. You're going to be fine. You're going to kick ass, Angela. All right, my dears. Thank you so much for being here. Hop into the Rapid Anger Relief System. It's going to be fun and a good journey. It's just 4 weeks, and you're going to be anger free after 4 weeks. See you there.